Hello everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart84. So I thought today I'd do a full update video on all 5 of my pineapple, guava or feijoa plants for the people who are interested particularly in those fruits and how they're doing outside, how they do outside in the UK here. So I thought I'd do all 5 plants. I'll try not to drag the video on too long. Now the first one we're looking at here is my mammoth. And obviously I'm filming this in the second week of August. Now I did have one of my mulberries growing in a pot there. I decided to move it away so that I could get more light to the mammoth and also more light to my in-ground lemon that's behind it. So let's just show you how this plant is doing. Jump down here. Now it's got, as you can see, quite a few fruits on it. You still get some that drop off. Look, I just touched that and that fell off. But that's okay because it's got too many on it. It's got some very small ones like this, which if you just touch them, they fall off. They're not going to make it to maturity anyway, so there's no great problem there. However, what's on the plant is considerably larger than at the same time last year. I would say they're running about 2 weeks ahead in terms of development and where they are. I don't know how many fruits are actually on the plant. Seems to have quite a good quantity, even tucked away behind the back here. You've got some like this that probably won't make it. They're far too small, but even further back on the plant I noticed there are some that are developing. If you look there, might get to an edible size, but most of them tend to be towards the front because obviously they're out in the sun and the daylight. So look, that one looks fine, that one there I'm removing. I was thinking of thinning them, but they seem to be thinning themselves in terms of the fact that these smaller undeveloped plants are drying out and falling off. Now the one advantage of them being this size early in August, it means if they keep developing until late October that I could get some bigger fruits this year. I'll be trying to target my record. These ones are no use at all. That should fall off. Thought I wouldn't touch it, but anyway, that's the mammoth. That's doing very nicely. Going to move on to the Apollo, which is the one that I put in ground maybe a month ago. I had a seedling plant in here that was very big and flowered profusely but didn't really produce worthwhile fruits, so I decided to remove it, which I did with the help of Amy and Ben. We managed to dig it out and one of their friends had it, and I've got the Apollo in. It's set a couple of fruits. I'm not sure if they'll get to an edible size. It remains to be seen, but by next year, all being well, it should be well established and produce good fruit. So that's the Apollo. Moving along to the Triumph. This was the one that actually, I think this flowered earliest this year. Doesn't produce fruits as big as the Mammoth, but it's still, as you can see, it's going quite nicely. Fruits are about probably an inch long, so about 2.5 centimetres, the largest ones. There are fruits on it that are a little bit smaller, perhaps not quite an inch in length, but it's got a fair number on it. Some of them are a bit tucked away, hidden underneath. Don't always seem to flower on the top of the plant. Quite often the flowers seem to appear sort of a third of the way down, but I think there's probably a dozen or more, maybe 15 plants possibly tucked away on this plant, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they get on. Triumph is a pretty reliable variety here. It's one of the main varieties. It's slightly easy to get, and it seems to cross-pollinate well with Mammoth, which is useful. Now moving on here to my Gemini, allegedly. I always say allegedly on all these pineapple guavas because you never quite know. You can't be 100% sure that the variety you've bought is actually what you get, because you can't easily recognise them or tell differences between them. But anyway, this one This has also got a lot of fruit set on it, and again they're mostly about an inch or a bit longer, so a good 2.5 centimetres long. It was actually slightly earlier than the mammoth. Seem to recall that somewhere here there's a slightly bigger fruit here. This one was obviously probably the first flower. That's doing very, very well for the second week of August, but this has got loads of fruit set on it, so you know, we're going to get a good crop of Gemini. I think previously I've only had a couple of very small, I had a couple of decent sized fruits last year, but it's going to produce a fair bit more this year. Again, they should be ready probably, look, there's loads of them, should be ready I suppose at the end of October, beginning of November. We're going to have plenty to sample, and it's quite a nice fruit, to be honest. I think the skin's a little bit thinner on it, so it's a little bit more edible. And then moving on, I've got one more pineapple guava left. I did have 8 varieties, but I sold 5 off. So I've sold 3 off, so I've only got the 5 left now. And this one is a unique, and it does, yeah, it's got some fruits on it as well. Again, they're quite a good size, about an inch. It's not got dozens of fruits, but you know, I'd say it's probably got about 15 fruits on it. So we're going to get a good crop on that, so we can do a proper taste comparison. Oops, sorry, I knocked the phone in my hands. It's actually sort of growing, growing tightly amongst. Next to a cherry guava that I've got in a pot next to it. I'll have to have a big move around at some time or other with all these plants. But anyway, that's the last variety. As I said, that's unique, which I believe is self-fertile, but as I've got the other 4 varieties, it's easy to hand pollinate or cross pollinate them anyway. But it's doing very, very well for the second week of August, and I think that as long as we don't have any horrors in sort of September, October, looks like we're going to get quite a decent harvest of good sized fruits this year. Certainly the mammoth is looking very, very promising, so I think we'll get some quite big fruits on it. I'll be interested to see if I can challenge my record weight. Can't remember what it was, but certainly 100 and something grams. Won't be some of the giants that I've seen in New Zealand or Florida or California, but good enough for this country anyway. So thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're a pineapple guava stroke Feijoa fan, that's Acaciloiana, and all 5 I've got left now are named varieties. Obviously I'll probably do an update video sometime middle to late September and see how they're all doing for people interested. Main thing I've got to do is probably keep these well watered, because we've had very little rain, and that might cause a problem with fruit development. I don't want them to get too stunted. Thanks for watching the video. Please give me a thumbs up as usual. Share the video to anyone you think might be interested in pineapple guavas in the UK. Please subscribe to my channel, and remember, you need to click on that bell if you'd like to know when new videos come out. See you all soon. Brett out for now.